just let this loop a little while we're waiting
Yeah.
for people to come on. Start sharing the links. I'll send you the other links as well. Limit. Just keep your mic muted and I'll tell you when to unmute.
All right. How long do you reckon the podcast will last?
About an hour.
Okay. And just like time.
Huh?
I didn't watch my phone battery on 47%. I'm like, oh my god.
You can plug.
I can plug it in, but obviously my mixing device is the only issue. But we'll stretch it out. If I have to like just do Jordan, it's still important. How long are you going to give it in terms of people getting on?
Oh,
Sorry to
okay.
interrupt. Yeah,
I was muted. I was muted. All right. So let's start that one more time. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So hello everybody and welcome to a very special live brought to you by powered by Riverside FM indeed. And we will be speaking to one of my favorite people in the world, an individual who inspires me, an individual who I think we can all learn from. And we'll be tackling a pretty interesting topic, actually. And yeah, his name is Jordan. And I'll let him introduce himself to the world.
Awesome, awesome. Pleasure to be here. Happy to finally chop this up from across the world, across different waters. My name is Jordan Florenville, still Lucian as well, just like the game changer man himself. Right now, staying in Qatar. I'm 29 years old. Every time people ask me what do I do and what am I, I'm like I'm a lot of things.
Yep.
I would like to say I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, and the center point of my passion is definitely fitness, but community fitness. Anything that involves people getting outside of their comfort zones, pushing themselves, and just like the business days, thriving is something I'm super passionate about. So finally happy to be here to help people grow, help people get to know my origin story, the business's origin story,
Hmm.
and what's to come. I will say early o'clock. I
For
am
sure.
not good in counting. You can catch my battery very well. So there might be a part two to this, but we will make the most of this 23%.
Yeah, yeah. They're not. You said might. There will be a part two to this, regardless. But yeah, we know you have some technical issues, and it has been a real struggle to come to this point. And I want you to talk about this struggle before we even dive into you as a fitness enthusiast and you as a fitness entrepreneur. Bro, you said that you live in Qatar right now. We know that crazy things are happening in the world. First of all, how are you? How are you managing through this war situation? Really?
So, so again, I always want to add a disclaimer that I cannot speak on the behalf of everyone in the situation.
Yeah.
Qatar has at least, I would say, 3 million people. So I'm speaking one of 3 million. Uh, from my personal perspective, I feel okay. I
Okay.
feel protected. I feel looked after. My life, in terms of its rhythm, has not lost too much normality. And I credit that to one, actually being from the Caribbean where natural disasters are a thing.
Mm.
And also, I credit that to the stellar job done by the Qatari military and defense. So, for me personally, I feel okay. Obviously, there's an imminent threat, and that could escalate at any point. But I feel okay. I feel supported. I have had a lot of messages from friends from the UK, St. Lucia, Canada. There's also my faith. I have a strong faith that God doesn't put me anywhere that I don't have to be or I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be, unless obviously I choose to chart my own course.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I feel good. Big shout out, I would say, to all of the parties involved. Like I said, Qatar's had over 100 missiles, over 60 drones, and other types of missiles being sent over. Majority of it, I would say 95, 98% has been intercepted, some before they even get to civilian areas. And so they've alerted people at every point when things are escalating, when things calm down, what protocols to observe.
Right.
Uh, so yes, there are people who are panicked. There's people who've left the country, who've been evacuated. But as they say, as for me and my house, we're okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm happy to hear that, bro. Um, Constantly keeping you in prayers, constantly keeping you in our thoughts.
Please,
Yeah, because we know that this situation, albeit that you're doing well right now, it's a fluid situation, and we hope that that remains just as it is.
definitely, man. And honestly, like it's a blessing because Qatar is home to people from Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan, all across the GCC, all across the world, really.
Right.
And so there's people who've left one area of, you know, trouble and war and come into a situation and be reintroduced to another potential war. It is difficult. And so I don't take my calmness for granted. I try to
Mm-hmm.
pour into people, I try to remind my clients, hey, times like these, community is key. Giving people a call, giving people a hug, asking them how are you genuinely. The little things that make a community, especially back home.
Mm-hmm.
I've just leaned towards that a bit more. And I feel like it's really helped my group. So yeah, keep the prayers coming, keep the support coming. If people can donate and help, Ramadan in this country is a time where people are even more charitable than usual. So,
Right.
we embrace all the good coming with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, bro. So let's get into it. Let's get straight into the honest truth about being a fitness entrepreneur. Um, so the name of your brand is Je Thrive, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting name. How was that born? Where does it come from? Tell us about that.
Okay. So origin story. I give you a quick one. Summarize.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Um, so Je Thrive is JE,
Mhm.
Je, French, Jordan, and Ellie. So Ellie, my partner. Um, when we combine the two of our names, I mean, I think Je has an accent. Don't quote me on that. My French is not good. But the JE together, if you pronounce it with a French accent or French twang, you should get Je.
Mhm.
And it's a play on words to also mean I. So
Oh.
it's I thrive, really and truly. But ironically, the J is Jordan and the E is Ellie. So it's a nice play on words. But we want people to know when they say you thrive, it's really them saying I thrive.
Mhm.
And so if you observe the logo, it's set up in a ring. And one of the reasons I like rings is because it's supposed to represent eternity, constantly moving. And so we put I thrive within the ring because we want people to perpetually thrive, whether it's on the down or the plateau, as it may, or in the upwards. That's how we want people to look at themselves. That's how we want people to approach their fitness and everything of that sort. In terms of its conception, it happened in England. We were at one of my friend's house and we were just chopping up names, saying all of the trendy names, fitness shred, fitness passion, whatever. And then I was like, for me, I want to move away from mediocrity. I want us to set a benchmark and I want people to always be in a place where they're superseding. And it doesn't mean that you're 110% of your best every day, but it does mean based on what's in the tank, you're deciding to show up. And I think that's super important. That can be lost in fitness quite a lot where people expect to be on 10 every day. I'm like, no, if you can get three, and that 3 out of 10 might mean, hey, I am not able to train hard, but I'm able to sleep well that night. Quick example, last night, I, I pride myself on someone being an individual who trains pretty much every day. I can train
Right.
today, I was away.
Mhm.
However, I ran a 30K on Friday. I did it fasted. And I said, I could run today, but something's not right. So I said, you know what? I am going to bed early. I got a solid 9 hours sleep. Sleep score looking beautiful. I felt refreshed. Shot me straight into a great workout today. And for me, that's thriving. That's not forcing a narrative simply because go hard, go hard, go hard. But I'm like, listen, in order for me to give my best, I have to look at those key markers and move in that direction.
Absolutely. So I'm understanding that your brand is basically giving of your best, whatever your best is on that given day, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Interesting. So I mean, so that's a passion of yours. I know that you I mean, you are almost crazy for fitness. I when I speak to my friends about, hey, this guy just accomplished X, this guy just accomplished Y, they ask like, why does he even do this? So why do you do it?
Bro, honestly, I ask myself that question every year. Why do I continue to do it? Why do I do it?
Hmm.
But there's a lot of reasons. There's a constant curiosity. I think you have to be curious. You get to one threshold and you wonder, okay, how far can I go? And especially being that I'm 29 years old now, for me, I'm in my absolute prime,
Mm,
for my physical prime. And I know, obviously, you can stretch this out. We have athletes like LeBron James who's doing crazy things at 40.
right.
But I'm like, while my physiology allows, I'm just curious because I know once that window is gone, I
It's
can
gone.
maintain it. But I'm so curious to talk about my heyday when I'm older and see how far I can get to within that time. Equally, bro, as a St. Lucian, as a Caribbean person, I've felt that we're such a resilient group, but equally we're our own worst enemy.
Hmm.
We can foresee greatness in people from other countries except our own. And we're not necessarily surprised when we get there because we do know if we have the opportunity, we can.
Right.
But there's a weird gap between the opportunity, knowing we can actually execute it. And so, what I would like my life to be is a blueprint for people who are winging it at the beginning, but also navigating unfamiliar waters. Because a lot of the things I do, I'm not sure. So when you see me pushing those limits, when you see me running at all times of days, it's because I've seen no one really do it. I'm curious to see what level will I get to. And once I leave that platform for people, I'm so excited to see what the next gen is going to do with that blueprint. So a lot of the things I'm doing now, I'm just like, I'm really hoping somebody takes that and says, I want to absolutely destroy those records. And that will be the new precedence. That will be the new mental threshold for what can be achieved, no matter where you're from in the Caribbean, but specifically people from Barbano, people from St. Lucia. So that's why I do it. All of the crazy things, it's because I wanted that reference point, and I was like, okay, if it's not there, then I have to become it.
Got you. Got you. So then my question then to you is, when did you know that this thing that you're so passionate about would become a business? Because I mean, it's one thing to be passionate about something and something completely different to turn it into a business. So when did you know that it would become a business?
Mhm. I always say there's never really a moment. I think there's always a compilation of things that makes
Okay.
you conclude that. I do remember one moment when one of my family members, he told me, I basically, okay, so I've looked through the different hotels in St. Lucia for over the last 7 to 8 years. And I've always felt that the hotels are amazing at what they do, but they lack an authentic experience. So I always invited friends to stay with me um, and enjoy family time, enjoy
Hmm.
the nature, and do a bit of fitness. And I remember it was either 2021. One of my cousins from the UK came and he stayed with me. And he was like, Jordan, this is a business. You hosted us. You created a fitness routine for us. You've taken us on tours. You've introduced us to our family. We feel like we know St. Lucia through the perspective of a local person.
Hmm.
Why don't you start doing the retreats abroad where it's maybe customized for people who are interested in fitness? Um, you do something local for St. Lucia, and that can be your brand. People like engaging with you, they feel your passion. And then I was like, you know what? The end all and be all won't be the hotels for me. I need to pivot to something else.
Right.
Um, and for me, that passion for community, I was like, I always wanted a brotherhood, an escape, my cave, my crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what, with the amount of people I've met, I wish I had a platform, a place where I could bring them and just pour into them for a week or two and remind them of how capable they are because they pour into me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I met Ellie, she had that same energy, but almost not a polar opposite, but such a complementary piece. I'm
Right.
quite high energy action, and
Mm-hmm.
Ellie can be high energy and action, but she's more of a empathetic, calm, and grounding type of personality.
Yeah. And
So
you
I
need
was
that
like,
balance. Yeah? The balance is very
definitely,
important. Yeah.
definitely. And so I was like, man, what more could you ask for? It's right there at your feet. So, make the most of it. And that's why I was like, it's time to make this a business.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. So I'm seeing that we have many of those members of your brotherhood and, well, I guess sisters as well in the chat. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate your presence in the chat. I see Mucken asking you, when are we tackling Mount Everest?
Very soon, very soon.
Very
So,
soon.
I mean, shall we? I'm going to give you a live update. I'm on 60%. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shall we pivot to that right away? It's up to you, Queen.
Sure,
You
let's
dictate.
go. Let's go. Hey, it's as
Okay,
much as I'm the one hosting the live, it's your live. So yes, we can pivot. Let's go.
okay, perfect. So, Mount Everest, right?
Mhm.
Mount Everest. My goal is to do it within the next 3 years. Ideally, I would do this thing right now, but one of the biggest things is sorting the funding.
Mhm.
So I don't want to do this completely out of pocket because I won't have a future. I need to have a future for myself post Mount
Exactly.
Everest. So one of the goals is to do one of the things this podcast is about is an ultra marathon
Hmm.
around St. Lucia.
Yep.
I want to do it solo. The ultra marathon, I want it to be your baby, the public of St. Lucia, and whoever else has an interest in whatever I do. This is your baby, all right? I'm going to do it solo. And I kind of want to use that to get people to realize the seriousness that I have and use that as a platform to partner with people, whether it be brands, whether it be through a charitable donation, whether it just be through people attending the retreat. I'm going to use all of those different revenue streams to push towards Mount Everest. Because Mount Everest will cost you roughly anything from 80,000 US to 100,000 US. And if you go on a very small budget, it could cost you maybe 20,000. But then, you're risking probability of life and death with
Right.
a lower budget versus a higher budget. So Mount Everest is coming. I've told myself I will not relent until it's done. But I need to also realize there's other things I need to hit first to let people realize this is not just me waking up one day and saying I want to climb Mount Everest. It's in the works, and there's things I'm doing to help build that momentum.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I've seen people in the chat saying, even Jalui, your good friend Jalui said that is one place that he will not follow you. He doesn't plan on following you up Everest. But yes, we're looking forward to that trek around St. Lucia, and game changers will be a key part of this. We cannot give all the information away, but I can tell you that game changers will be a key part of that whole initiative. So look out. We'll have more lives coming up and more conversations coming up before the date. But yeah, this is a big thing coming up for us. So Jordan, I want to go back to the core question as to how to start a thriving fitness brand like you started. Tell me what your business model is like, because people might not be so clear as to what exactly you do. I mean, there are various forms of fitness businesses. There are gyms, there are various forms of fitness companies. So your business, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so more reasons people to tune in for part two. So I'll give you a basic frame, okay?
Hmm.
Um, what I have done takes a lot of time, and it's not something you could necessarily wake up and do unless you're a lover of content. If you love creating content and don't mind pumping out content every single day for about 8 months straight, by
Right.
all means, you can do what I'm doing within 8 months to 1 year. What I've done is, again, I've worked in hotels for 7 years. I've built, in my opinion, real lasting relationships with most
Mhm.
of these people. So there's real trust. Over the years, I've kept contact, I've competed, I have visited these people in the UK, they've returned to the hotel, they've seen me grow.
Mhm.
And so there is trust. Once that trust is built, I speak to them. And listen, I have had 2,000 contacts. I
Wow.
probably received 1,100 no's. But of those 1,100 no's, I have 900 core people. And of that 900, maybe about 100 who will happily entertain ideas and
Mhm.
sometimes commit to coming with me. And again, I don't need 900 people now at this 5 year plan. Okay. So of that group, I have created Jeffrey,
Mhm.
and they come with me on retreats that I created. Now, at the very onset, I started small. You find a villa, you find a trustworthy chef, you find people who have good reputations, people you can
Mhm.
trust, people who will not undercut you, and you put all of these things together. And that's how you start putting this thing together. So I don't use a gym. I use an online platform to keep people updated, keep the community going as much as I can, and I can do better.
Mhm.
Like I said, consistency is key. The ability to keep on pouring into these people and being there for them, especially when they need you, and celebrating their wins as well. Let them know that you're not just here to pick out their pockets, but you actually care. So for a young person trying to do something of that sort, I would say the first thing is ensure that your character is right. Ensure that
Mm.
this is who you are and it authentically comes out, because the initial dividends is not received until about 2 to 3 years, 4 years later. Once you know that your character is genuine, then you begin to have meaningful relationships and you build your network. The network is built, then you start looking to collaborate with the right people. You find three good people, you start building your system. How do you want this to work? Do you need a physical bit of infrastructure? And do you need a website to host the platform? And again, these things come through trial and error. So feel free to ask me more specific questions, but I want to just run through this and we'll get into the nitty gritty um, on the next one.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. All right. So, in terms of straightforward, um, and I just want to go back to what you just said in terms of what it takes on a day to day basis. What is your day to day like then?
Day to day. Okay, so again, my brand is still, sorry, our brand. My fault, sorry, Ellie. Our brand is built on our reputation so far. So when I get up on my day to day, the first thing I do is take care of me. I have to train.
Mhm.
I have to kind of, okay. So I'll give you a normal morning. Wake up, try my best, say my prayers, start the day, fix my bed, go to the gym. From the gym, it's pure admin. It's checking on clients, responding to messages, sending you inquiries, checking out new sites for my business, um, messaging suppliers. It's a lot of administrative, boring stuff. It's not the fun bit. The easy part is actually organizing the retreat. So that's the day to day. It's a lot of check with my chef,
Mm-hmm.
check with the villas, check with the clients, see if everything is ticked off, check dates, check flights, check situations abroad like what we're having now. Will it
Right.
affect our flights? Train myself. Um, and honestly, that's pretty much it. It keeps on just repeating more and more. Closer to the time, you go over stuff like checking your itinerary, making sure that's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, that's my day to day. The day to day is very much admin heavy. And that's the thing a lot of people, I think, miss out on. They can't get caught up in the content, and content is good. One nugget I would drop on people right now for stuff like retreats, unless you're an influencer and you're promoting your marketing,
Yeah.
a big following is very good. For what we do, a big following is good, but so few people actually book on. So
Right.
it's very targeted. You know, you have to look for the people who are within the income brackets, as well as what ages are you looking to target, and what does your product satisfy the wants of these people at that age. All
Got
right.
you.
So that's a big thing. And our page, I don't think we have 2,000 followers, but we of our 1,000+ followers, it's a solid group of people. And we don't need 20K to be able to fill a retreat. We need 3K, 200 solid people, and then that does the work for you again, as long as you stay consistent.
Right. So it's quality over quantity. That's what I'm hearing you say. Right. It is the type of people and the caliber of the group of people rather than just having numbers.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, volume is important.
Hmm.
Ultimately, the more volume you have, the more reach you get to. And with more volume, even if it's 10%. So, for example, if I reach 1 million people, 10% of 1 million people is still 100,000.
Right.
And so that is of that 100,000. If I get 1% to book, that's amazing. However, the initial investment it might take to reach 100,000, you might not be able to do it in the now, which is why I tell people if you commit to 8 months of consistent output, that's available. You might get a viral video.
Right.
However, I know that's not necessarily my strength, so I double down on every person I reach. I really try to pull them in, and then I expect that multiplier through a word of mouth, through a share, and through just filling my small spaces and getting the fundamentals right. Because one of the things I don't want to do is get too big without having the characteristics and the variables in place that when the demand comes, I'm caught off guard.
Right.
So I always say within the first 3 to 4 years, nail down your admin, your website, your quality of your emails, how you relate to people, your chef, your logistics. And once you're going to run this smoothly, you're now ready to take that next step. Otherwise, you get too big for your boots, as they say.
Got you. Got you. So it is. And I like that a lot because a lot of people would just assume that you have to start big right away, but sometimes starting too big actually kills your business, right? That is what you're saying, because if you go to a point where you cannot handle, right, too many clients, too many activities, maybe even too much money, right, can be a problem for some people because it's too big for them and they cannot handle it at that time, right? So I like that a lot. That makes a lot of sense. Chat, you feel free to hit us up with more questions. Jordan has limited time here. I also know, bro, I know it's very late where you are. What time is it where you are now?
10:40, ten
Yes.
forty. So we're not too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, well, we're not too bad, but we still do understand the importance of sleep for an athlete and a businessman like you. So let's ask a few more questions, and then for sure we'll have to do a part two. All right, bro. So you have spoken about thriving as something that is lived and executed daily, right? Um, is there any non-negotiable habit that you have daily, um, that allows you to maintain your success, the success that you've seen so far, that you have to
Great
do every
question.
single day? Yeah.
Great question. Now, everyone will have different non-negotiables. Oh my God, 9%. Anyway, let me get to this straight away. So for me, it's one of two things. I have to talk to God.
Hmm.
Guilty, not guilty, in spiritual synergy, not spiritual synergy, where I'm ashamed because I know I'm not living how I'm supposed to live.
Right.
I have to talk to God. One thing I learned again, whatever you believe in, you have to, I don't know, but I'm saying for me,
Hmm. Yep.
when I'm in absolute flow, it's like God is like my bro. He's literally standing there, and I'm like,
Right. Right.
"What you do? We can do this. Can we do this?" And that's how I approach things. And so once that conversation happens, it sets the precedence for my day, and that happens without me thinking. As soon as I get up, my mind ticks. Are you gonna pray? Are you not gonna pray? Are you gonna do this? That's how it works for me.
Mm.
In terms of, let's say that person is not spiritual, I would say you need to have one non-negotiable because it is your reference point. So I grew up, for those of you who don't know, I'm Seventh-day Adventist Christian, right? A lot of people always realize the moment they hit me up for something on a Friday night, I tell them, sorry,
Yeah.
cannot happen. And so what that has done for me, it taught me my first way of saying no. And initially it was very uncomfortable, but I've grown to realize it's actually for somebody who's super, super active. It actually settles me. My body, when the sun sets on a Friday, no matter the country, my body just shuts down naturally.
Yes.
I sleep longer. And I realized it when I did Kilimanjaro. I remember we had to climb, and I was like, what day is it? I lost the track of the day. And I felt so exhausted during that particular window. And I realized, oh my God, it's Saturday night. And I realized we walked through the Friday
Right.
into the Saturday. And I was like, I was telling Ellie, I'm so exhausted and I cannot understand. My body rhythm just collapsed. And it rose back. And
Yeah.
for me, that just showed me the importance of consistent habits.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, my non-negotiable is just training. I have to train. And the training is not just exercise. The training is of one way: good sleep, a good training session, or good eating.
Mm.
These things for me are not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Right.
So my non-negotiable is I have to get one good win. So again, for people who don't necessarily have a spiritual relationship, fair play. Maybe I hope you come to that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But if not, you need one grounding activity. Whether that is as small as fixing your bed in the morning. One of my flatmates, she goes for a walk every single morning. Missiles, no missiles,
Oh my.
rain, no rain.
Uh,
And I love that because I'm like, she has a grounding routine.
Mm-hmm.
And it lets her do whatever she needs to do because I'm not on the walk with her. So my non-negotiable is that short conversation and my training. Because outside of this, not that I don't have an identity without my training, but it
Mm-hmm.
always, when people talk about consistency, when people talk about discipline, I can always call on that habit because I've done it not well, very well, not great days, broken arm days, injured days. I've done it. And we'll, again, more things to elaborate on soon.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, but we're running out of time, unfortunately. Bro, I know that I love what you spoke about. We literally spent for time because of your own situation and other situations as well. But I do say in the chat there's a question that it says, is there a family factor behind your choice in fitness? Where does that come from? If you can answer this question, I think people will.
Back to yes, yes, yes. We got 7%, and you started to also pick up some family members.
Go, okay,
So
go ahead.
I hope my brother is watching this because shout out to everybody who remembers the era of high five. If anybody remembers the era of high five pre MySpace, when it was like high five tagged, even something called Flickster. I remember my brother having a profile picture on high five, and the man had a solid 8 pack. A lot few people remember those days because my brother is not no longer 8 pack. His dad done now.
Hey,
And before that, he was very slim. But I can remember one particular day. Dawn and my cousin Lyndon, we were in Dawn's and I shed room, and I saw these guys. Maybe I was starstruck as a kid. I saw these guys do about 600 sit-ups on the bed,
wow.
non-stop, and I was like, they was struggling. I think Lyndon got to about 400, 500. Dawn did about close to 700, and that stayed as a core memory. I never, ever, ever forgot it. Um, that was a catalyst because I started training with them. And I remember at 8 years old being able to do 50 push ups. I was mind blown. So my brother and Lyndon inspired me. Another event is one of my cousins from the US. He came to do the Pioneer Fun Walk in 2008. And I just saw the guy for gold medal. And I was like, wait, what? This guy came from the US, got a
All right.
gold medal. So there was a portion of me that according to my competitive spirit. And then my mom used to do a lot of health presentations. So always kind of hearing eat healthy, don't smoke, do this, mental health. Um, that constant recycle of information always stayed with me. Even stuff like LNG, in terms of plant-based diets, um, always stay in my head. So I always leaned into it, and I always wonder why people didn't take on those lifestyles more.
Right.
So yeah, that's the easy way of saying that's the family influence on it. But in terms of sports and physical activities, um, a few people dip their toes into it, but what
Well,
I'm doing is quite far off from what most
yeah.
people have done in the family.
Yeah, not quite like you. Not quite like you. Well, you are definitely a game changer in that regard. I don't think I know anybody, at least from St. Lucia, is doing it quite like you're doing. It. By the way, guys, you can follow Jordan across social media. Jordan, tell them where they can find you, and obviously we will be doing a follow up episode. We'll be posting clips from this, and
Definitely.
we'll be doing another live. But tell us where we can find you, so we can follow your journey.
So at JE underscore thrive at JAF dot IB AKA. And once you follow these, so you'll find the rest. Now, there's one more, but we'll shoot it there. It's crazy. I'm gonna say this now. I have this is my fault. We're definitely doing a part two. I have 3%.
Bro.
And
Charge
so
your phone next time. Charge your
yeah,
phone.
I will. If I cut off, I'm so sorry. But yeah, we will definitely do a part two, and we'll get more information out. Quickly saying, people, August 1st, the ultra marathon in St. Lucia is going to happen. We'll be putting a lot of information out on that. Please get behind it. It will be all the way from the top of St. Lucia, circumnavigating pretty much the entire perimeter of the island. It's going to be an epic adventure, something unprecedented. So, Game Changers will be covering it, as well as a few other important collaborators. So, let's make this one special for Lucians.
For sure. For sure. Okay, bro. Thank you so much for coming on. Like we rightfully said, guys, we will be having a part two of this live where we will extend the conversation a little bit deeper into, more of about fitness and health, and also, being a game changer in this space. Game Changers is available wherever you get your podcast. This is our first ever live simulcast where we were live on YouTube, Facebook. LinkedIn didn't work out for some reason, and we still need to tweak out some things with Instagram. We can't go live on these platforms right now, but we wanted the best quality for you. So I will be reaching out to the Riverside team to ensure that everything is good. But this is a premium platform for podcasting. Riverside.fm is the ideal platform for podcasting. Don't take my word for it. Do your research, and I'll let you know. Anyhow, guys, this has been yet another Game Changers episode. This is yet another live Game Changers episode. I'll see you next time. Stay hungry. Until then, bye bye.